And not being an in-person audition, how do you like that compared to doing now pretty much all your auditions, I would say?
I hate the video auditions. Oh my gosh. Can I list the reasons why?
Tell me.
The primary one for me is I'm an actor that needs a director. I always feel like if I'm doing this on my own, if I'm painting the whole thing red and you really want it blue, I don't know.
Right.
Okay? And I don't know what you're going to do, when you're going to turn off my audition and move on to the next guy because of that.
Many of us move to Los Angeles to pursue a dream of breaking into the film industry. We get to know our beloved characters on screen, but who is the person behind the camera? I'm your show host, Olivia Lyle, and welcome to Coffee and Conversations.
Pete, welcome to Coffee and Conversations.
Thank you, Olivia.
I'm so happy we're able to sit outside finally. We've had a couple of days of rain. Sun is shining. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. A little chilly, but I'll survive.
Before we dive in, we always like to ask our guests what your go-to coffee is.
Yeah, I know you do, and I really feel like a little bit of a schlub here because I just drink Costco Kirkland Pacific Bold because I can get it, when I buy it on sale, I end up paying maybe 35 cents a cup for coffee.
That's a good deal.
It's a good deal, and I can't see going to Starbucks and spending $4 or $5 on a cup of coffee. It's just, I don't have the budget.
And then you can do it at home, right when you wake up, in the comfort of your own home.
Yes.
Simple.
Push a button.
Yeah. I like it.
Yes.
Okay, so now give us a bit of a backstory. Tell us who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
I'm a native Californian, believe it or not. It just worked out that way with my family because I have brothers and sisters that were born in other states. And I'm an actor. Basically, I've been I think I told you earlier, I'm a working artist all my life, either in front of the camera or behind the camera or the microphone. I also do voiceover besides on camera, so.
Yes, I know one of your first big voiceover roles was for Mercedes-Benz, correct? For a big national commercial?
No, that was on camera.
Oh, okay. That was your on-camera commercial?
That was on camera commercial.
Okay, tell me about that experience and what that was like.
That was very interesting, again, because I was doing Santa Claus. I don't know why people see that in me.
Yeah.
When you get a little 5-year-old at a grocery store parking lot coming up and giving his Christmas list to you, sort of figure, I think I could do this guy, So I auditioned like everybody else did at that point. They do a slate shot of you, and then they printed that out on a sheet for the director, and I got to the callback. So he's not even looking at my Photoshop version of my Santa Claus. He's looking at the guy I did when I came in for the first audition. He's looking at the shot, he's looking at me, he's looking at the shot, and he goes, you look exactly like an illustration I have been reading from a book to my daughters for the last 10 years. I got the job.
The Mercedes-Benz winter event is back with the perfect vehicle that's just right for you, no matter which list you're on.
So the nice thing about Mercedes is, back in those days, it was a national, paid SAG scale, so I made great money. But then I was also cast for the second year, the year after that. They played all of the first year, the second year, along with the second year.
Oh, wow.
So I made greater money the second year. And then, Mercedes, I guess then went to, I think I looked at them for this last year, they're using, families and people, no Santa Clauses. So they used to have Santa Claus every Christmas, but they've sort of gotten away from that, so.
And not being an in-person audition, how do you like that compared to doing now pretty much all your auditions, I would say?
I hate the video auditions. Oh my gosh. Can I list the reasons why?
Tell me.
The primary one for me is I'm an actor that needs a director. I always feel like if I'm doing this on my own, if I'm painting the whole thing red and you really want it blue, I don't know.
Right.
Okay? And I don't know what you're going to do, when you're going to turn off my audition and move on to the next guy because of that. And, we were talking about this earlier, setting up the camera, the lighting. I'm my own lighting director, I'm my own scenic artist, I'm my own director, audio guy. I just don't like it.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah. And again, you don't know how much. You're lucky if they're going to stick with you for 10 seconds. as we know in live auditions, you walk through that door and they go, too tall, ooh, too fat, ooh, too short, oh, too skinny. Who knows? There's a myriad, but they pretty much know if you hit their wheelhouse or not. And for me, again, I don't know what they're looking for. The submissions have gotten to the point on the breakdowns where you can't really decipher what they're looking for too much. When I've gone into live auditions and I know some of the casting people, some of the session directors, I can go, so what's the deal here? And they go, well, the client really doesn't know either, so we're just going to do this.
Right. You can talk a little bit with them, whereas this, it's you got one take and they're going to love it or hate it.
And your choices are, your choices.
Yeah.
But like every other situation, you're always told, be as bold as you can, make the definitive choices of you, be unique, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah.
Tell me about your audition process in getting on The Mentalist. I know you were a part of that.
Yeah, that was pretty much in the same agent too. Again, I just got the sides and went in and did the audition, and they liked what they saw. I don't know. I know I met the guy that was also put on a veil with me that didn't get it and was very upset that he didn't get it. But yeah, no, it was really, God bless me with the both of these, I don't really feel like I do anything but bring myself, and then he opens the doors. The good Lord opens the doors for me. That's the way I look at it.
I know on that point that you are a man of faith. Can you talk to us about your journey in becoming a Christian?
Yeah, I was back in high school. My drama teacher. Pretty interesting experience that I actually saw. I was with some friends one night, and I had been talking to my drama teacher, and he had been telling me about God and telling me that there was two entities out after me. One was God, and the other was the devil. Excuse me. So I was at this party, and all of a sudden, one of the guys that we were working on a musical, and he was like the percussionist, but he was one of these kind of, I don't know what, he was like a wizard or a warlock, and he started talking about producing from himself with this aura. He could see my aura, and I'm going, hey, Carl's getting late, I need to go. But all of a sudden, I was looking at him, he goes, what did you see? And I go, what? I actually saw in his aura, sort of a glow around him, an entity step out of him. And I said, okay, fine. Went back and shared that with Phil, and Phil said, that's the devil, and he wants you as much as God wants you. I chose God.
Yeah.
I chose Jesus, so I follow Jesus now.
How has navigating Hollywood influenced your faith? How do you...
Oh, the nice thing about, the Lord opens the doors for me, and I believe that truly. So even now, I get even more discerning on, as I look at a breakdown, Lord, is this something I can do? Is this something you want me to do? It may not be something that I feel like I want to do, but he may want me to do it because he may know there's somebody on that set that he wants me to be there for or to share with or whatever. It's not about me. It's not about me, and it's not about my career and advancing my career. It's about his kingdom and what he wants. And that brings me a lot of peace, takes that anxiety off of me, because I know if I don't get it, it's because he didn't open the door.
Right. And these nudges, these answers that you get from him, how do you receive them? Is it through prayer? Is it through just signs in life? How do you actually receive this answer?
I know that I know that I know that I know. Basically, there's the closer you are to the Lord, I believe, he says, my sheep will know my voice. And so I'm learning to know what his voice is when he's saying, no, don't do that. Because I still have the choice to do it.
Right.
Okay? He's not putting this big, sign up, don't do that, We've done enough in our lives, all of us, to make bad choices. And we know when we have, usually afterwards. Yeah. Now I'm knowing a little bit before. So, and I'm not always on. I could be wrong. Things have come back that I've walked away from or ignored because I have decided I didn't want to do it. And when that I gets in there, now you've got some real problems. But it's like, what do you want, Lord? Right. And then it was a little more clear, a little more focused for me.
Beautiful, beautiful. Talk to me now a little bit about your experience as a voice actor? Do you prefer one or the other, acting as opposed to voice acting?
It's all acting. I have a lot of people say, "Oh, I think I want to be a voice actor. I want to do voiceover." And I go, "Are you an actor?" "Well, no, you're just reading." "Well, no. You need to be an actor. You need to bring." I always tell folks, back in the day, there was a point where they were looking for real guys. I say, if you want a real guy, like the guy next door, you got to hire an actor. Because if you get a real guy, you're going to be bored to tears.
Right.
So the acting craft and skill and talent still needs to come into play with everything, including voice acting. So a lot of what I do in voice acting, I also do on camera. It's kind of the same techniques on camera. You're just worried about a few other things, visual things. In voice act, but you approach the roles, you approach a lot of those things the same way. You're doing the same sort of craft on them, if you will.
Do you like to play around with voices?
Well, I like to. I do sort of have some representation for video games and animation. However, that's sort of a weird world, and I don't always get auditioned for that all the time. And that's a hard niche to break into anyway. But inevitably, I'm getting stuff commercially that, they do want more character types on certain things, all the way from the straight to the over-the-top, more animated caricatures. Like I did a Red Bull commercial, an audition for Red Bull, playing the Senior Devil. So yeah, I'm not gonna read the Senior Devil with this voice. You know what I mean?
Of course.
So yeah, whatever voice I can do, I try to bring that. Especially. I always try to do 2 takes. So the first take I'm going to do pretty much what they asked for, and the second take I'm going to try to do something different vocally, especially in voiceover, and on camera too. You want to do 2 sides of the coin, so to speak.
Yeah, that's so fun. What kind of wisdom would you give the younger generation who's now navigating the film industry?
Get out of it as soon as you can. You're going to be killed. Again, for me, because my faith guides me in so much with what I do, I understand the game. It's a numbers game, so the more auditions you get, the more likely you are to book. You have to do a lot of self-promotion. You have to keep up with it. I don't have to do all of that. My commercial agent wanted it a while back, but and I did try to do content for a while, but it just got exhausting. And I'm never going to have enough to be an influencer, which is going to help in the game of being cast. Younger actors, I think, have to worry about that more than I do. So do what you have to do. But as I said, for me, it's nice to know that I'm being guided, that God's opening the doors and closing the doors and showing me the path and the way. But because it's not about me. If it's about me, my social media thing, promoting myself, blah, 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 then yeah, you just stay in that world and good luck. It's a crapshoot. You're going to get some, you're not going to get some,
Are you happy that you were able to experience the industry the way that it was, a couple of decades ago when it was in-person auditions and there was no social media? Do you feel kind of blessed?
When there was film in the camera?
Yeah.
When I started voiceover, it was cassette tapes. Then it went to CDs. And it's all digitized and all online and that kind of stuff. So yeah, and I remember coming out of high school, visiting a couple of movie sets. It was all film, and having heard some people have recently done some film, they said, yeah, it's a little bit different when they've only got 10 minutes in the camera to roll. So if they're doing a big set piece with like a stunt or something, you're a little more conscious going, we can't just keep doing this till we get it right. So there's a quality about those days that I miss. We were talking earlier about the theater, that quality of playing live in front of an audience. There's nothing like it. I don't trust actors that haven't had some theatrical experience in front of an audience. That shows you how to play an arc of a role so that you can translate that into a film situation, because in film you're so cut up and you never know how you're going to do things out of order, and to build those arcs, to know where you are and what page are we on and where am I as a character, because you could be shooting the last scene of a film on the first day of the shoot. So all of that stuff that the character has gone through being resolved on the first day of the shoot is pretty tough. I've never had to do that, thank God, but So there's those experiences that the business hasn't changed much. It was like even today here, you had to clap for us to start, right? Since sound has come into the movies, there's been a clapboard to sync sound.
Yes.
So certain things haven't changed, which is kind of amazing with all the technology we have. We still haven't gotten away from the clapboard.
Stick to the basics.
Yeah.
Well, we're out of style. Okay, now what piece of advice would you give younger Peter at the start of his career?
I don't know what I would say. It's a good question. I probably don't be so harsh on yourself. Don't be so critical. Make those hard choices, but make those bold choices and stick with them. It took a while to get the confidence, and I understand that with young starting actors, confidence is a real hard one to come by, and it can be considered arrogant and swagger and pride in those early stages, whereas confidence should be something where you are just quietly assured in yourself that you can do this. Because if you can't over the long haul, you're never going to make it.
Yeah. Well said. I like that. It's just a quiet inward relationship with yourself.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay, now we're going to end on a couple of fun, quick questions.
Okay.
First answer that comes to mind. Favorite place to eat in LA?
I'm a cook and I can't afford to eat in most places. I always stumble over this one because I don't eat out that often.
That's okay. You can say your kitchen. Okay.
Yeah, my kitchen.
Favorite go-to meal that you cook for yourself?
Pasta.
Pasta. Yum.
Yeah, my grandmother was Sicilian. I can do a sauce in 30 minutes.
Red sauce? Nice.
Easy.
Yeah.
I know how to cook al dente pasta.
Beautiful. Sounds good. Okay. Favorite movie?
Oh, that's not fair. That's like, which child do I like the best? Of course, I'm a fan of Citizen Kane, Shawshank Redemption, Lawrence of Arabia, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot.
You're saying? Yeah, I know. It's
There's not one.
Question.
Yeah.
I know. I'll stop asking that in the future. People hate that question.
Name your top 5.
There you go. Okay. Favorite vacation spot?
I don't do vacations. I don't eat out. I don't do vacations. God, I'm a boring person.
I like it.
I used to, and I still love to go up north to Carmel.
Lovely.
My folks retired up there. My second mom was up there, so I spent Christmases like for 30 years up there. So Northern California, Carmel.
Beautiful. Favorite genre of music?
Musicals, theatrical,
Yeah.
Broadway musical, and classical. I listen to classical a lot.
And favorite hobby?
I don't have one. I write now because and I don't want to do that as a hobby. I want to do that as a living.
Right.
I want to in other words, I would rather do something that's got an achievable goal than just spending my time crafting something out of whatever,
But like on the weekends when you need a break, what do you do? You don't take breaks.
I don't. I take a Sabbath rest, but I don't do anything.
Right.
Maybe watch a movie, read a book, spend time with the Lord. But on Saturday, I go home, I'm going to, I've got a couple of scripts that I'm working on. I'm going to be reviewing. Writing is rewriting, so I'll be rewriting on something today.
Very impressive.
It has nothing else to do. Doesn't have a social life.
Okay, well, that is a wrap here, Pete.
Well, thank you, Olivia. I enjoyed this. You made it very easy and very quick.
Thank you.
And painless.
I hope so. That's our mission here. I love getting to know you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Olivia.
Thank you for joining us for Coffee and Conversations. If you're new here, you can watch our previous episodes above. You can also follow us on social media in the links below. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. If you'd like to be a featured guest on Coffee and Conversations, send us an email and let us know you're interested. I'll see you next time.